Alrighty, so this is my project, Homelessness in the Unseen Aesthetic. What homelessness is an epidemic that has been slowly becoming an issue that many cities want to make invisible. They want to show that their city has hospitality, and by punishing homeless people, it allows them to create an environment for people to live in. For example, we have police moving them out of commercial areas or benches designed not to be laid on that have been actively that are active measures that the city has taken. This, however, has not worked, since homeless people are trapped in a negative loop where they are criminalized for being homeless and cannot get access because they are seen as people who do not deserve help. So what becomes an issue? Well, the problem is that we are blind to homelessness. It has become evident that many policies that are being made are designed with the city in mind and not mitigating the problem. In cities such as Fresno, California, they seem to have not made any effort in reducing homelessness, but have instead created a facade with urban makeovers. Cities acknowledge that homelessness is an issue that needs to be taken care of, but will often plan around these issues. The idea of urban parks go against homelessness as they are not designed for them and create an atmosphere where they are not wanted. The problem that arises is that policies have done nothing to combat homelessness due to incompatibility with development and growth. So how do we approach homelessness? Well, first we have to understand where it stems from. As mentioned before, we see that city planning and policies seem to ignore homelessness, and this issue is not consistent across the nation. However, we must examine homelessness at a city or state level. Proposing solutions in one city may produce results, but if implemented elsewhere, it can be a detriment. Different issues have different solutions. We also have to understand structures. We have to see whether politicians have been making an effort to improve the issue, evaluate how barriers affect people, and whether existing institutions have helped or need more resources. We also have to see, does the federal government have a plan that allows for a decent solution? What we see is that there are few policies that have allowed homeless people to improve lives as they are criminalized. What becomes present is the idea of conflict theory. Policies are being made against homelessness as there are few resources available to them. We see that there are structures in place that make it difficult for homeless people to move upward in society. Policies such as removing them from public eye through architecture or police removing them. It also becomes more evident in cities where urban parks are maintained by removing homeless people to increase property value, a deliberate effort made by the city and its policies. We also see that federal policies have not helped, and what is suggested is that local issues should be done locally. So a proposed solution is that having the issues completely addressed by local cities and by having policies that actually address homelessness. This does not mean more police or anti-homeless architecture, but increase funding where they see fit. This has to be approached by a local level compared to a federal level. There are cities with various resources and they need to be evaluated differently. People must vote and educate themselves on how this issue is affecting them. This does not mean getting rid of federal funding, but simply to allow the city to handle it on their own. Educating people on policies that have made the issue invisible. We can allow for more resources to go towards homelessness rather than policing them. By allowing police to be less involved in displacement, less criminalization occurs and more positive policies can be made. By removing barriers, by allowing the city and people to be involved, the negative feedback loop mentioned can go away and allow for successful rehabilitation. There are strengths in this solution that the approach of this would allow for the community to have a unique solution that minimizes homelessness by allowing the city and its people to handle its own affairs. They are no longer limited to the federal government implementing a plan that will not work in some cases. Less time and money spent to criminalize homelessness, more resources to help them is a net positive for everyone. The weaknesses, however, is that the main drawback of the city is that how city officials can simply not enact any of the policies the public wants as it goes against their own public interest. People can elect those into power who know that they can benefit from having policies to criminalize them to increase their own property values. The idea of helping people does not allow them to get richer. There are many people who believe that they will not benefit from it. The idea of why should my money go into helping them? They can pull them up by their own bootstraps. And here are the references and sources I have used for my project. Thank you very much.